Welcome to Controlled Opposition News with your host, Austin Zest. Today is March 10th, 2025. Welcome to this year, and we're already getting near the next year already, but let's go. So today we're going to get into some geopolitical moves, media suppression, some death, some people who, some reporters who've kind of mysteriously got murdered in the street, and then the future of identity and currency and crypto, and kind of this sort of really a lot of biblical prophecy that's actually kind of coming into play. And then at the end, we're going to get into ancient mysteries, the Pyramids of Giza, and why they align up, why we believe that they align up with Orion, and what that can mean for us as the future of humanity and the past of humanity, all happening simultaneously. So, welcome. Number one here, let's get into it. InfoWars reporter Jamie White was tragically murdered in Austin, Texas. Now, InfoWars is like a huge inspiration to me, to many people who have done reporting, and I can't believe what those guys have been through by trying to really tell the truth. Are they perfect? No. Do they have their issues? Sure. Everybody does. Nobody knows exactly the right thing. It's very difficult to 100% tell the truth all the time, 100% of the time, and be completely correct about everything. So, shocking and tragic news here, though, that he was brutally murdered around midnight on Sunday. So, White was a dedicated journalist known for exposing global agendas and deep state corruption. Alex Jones has called this a direct consequence of policies from Austin, Texas's George Soros' backed DA Jose Garza. Jones vowed that Jamie White's death will not be in vain, and pledged to continue to fight against terrorism. Was that a way to scare them? Hey, stop doing this. Hey, Alex Jones is a journalist. You know this is what will happen if you keep this up, right? If you keep speaking the truth, if you keep digging. And what's interesting is that his final reports, and I was just thinking about this before I even got this made, his final reports were on the Mexican cartel crisis, Trump's border crackdown, the elite's growing panic over an awakened public. I mean, I've been awakened for quite a long time. I was too awake when I was a young guy, but anyway, it's just, I'm glad to see that people are waking up, but it's very sad and heartbreaking to see that some people just don't want to, and I'm talking about the elites too. Get on board, man. Stop fighting this river. It's like you're fighting. You're trying to swim uphill against a river still. Repent. Stop it. Say you're sorry. We'll accept it. You know what I mean? Say, hey, I'm sorry. I mean, maybe we will, maybe we won't. I don't know. But I mean, at least I understand the way, like we're in this spiritual alignment where the planets affect us and affect the decision making of the principalities of this world. So is this a warning shot to independent media? Talk about this in the comments. Let us know what you think about that. I think it's very suspicious, right? It's very suspicious. It's like sending a message to the reporters who work for InfoWars, like, hey, stop doing what you're doing, or that's going to happen. Even though it might have been like a gang-related thing, and they'll try to say it was like a drug thing, you know what I mean? They might say that, but I wouldn't be that quick to believe that, So the next thing I need to talk about here is basically the cartels as well. So what's happening is Trump's war on cartels, is this like a new era? So the reason why, so for the first time in a year, the Mexican cartel leaders are genuinely afraid. Trump has officially labeled them as terrorist organizations, allowing the U.S. to launch military actions against them. And we're going to get into why I believe that is right now. Cartel operatives are reportedly hiding, shutting down fentanyl labs, and moving their families to avoid targeted strikes. Fentanyl labs, they overplayed their hand. I know China is involved with that, to a degree, because, and this actually, when you start to understand why things are the way they're, look at Mexico. Mexico is still probably not too happy about the wars that happened with America, which is not that long ago. We're talking less than a couple hundred years ago, a whole war where Mexico had a big part of the United States, and the United States, booted them out. And probably a lot of people died and stuff. So do you think people just let that type of stuff go? So in a way, the cartels and the drug, of course they're going to work with China and try to bring hard drugs that kill people right into the border. That makes sense, because China had a similar thing happen. This is revenge. They don't let things go. It's kind of like resentment, and stuff. It's like It's not really good to live that way, I don't think, because then you do end up dying. It ends up killing you. But I don't know if like on a nation level that ends up killing them. They've been around for quite a long time. I know China has for thousands of years. I don't think they're going away anytime soon. But I'm just saying, though, doing stuff out of that to kill other people on that. I don't know what the United States has done to China. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I know there's been a lot of business. But anyway, going back to the 1800s, there was an opium trade war. So the opium war where England, and I don't know if the United States was a part of that, but I know England had their opium war where they were selling opium into China and getting most of a large portion of the nation addicted to opium. And they would humiliate them, saying in news articles like, only Han type, the race Han, which is a majority of the Chinese race, Han type of, yellow skin, and they were the only type of people who would be addicted to opium. So it's like they would write that in news articles, white Europeans, they can't be addicted, it's impossible. So what's interesting though is a more recent article, I believe, from China a few years back said, oh no, Han people cannot be addicted. Only white Europeans can get addicted to fentanyl, which is so crazy because it's just not true. But it's their way of saying, hey, this is a historical war we're dealing with. We don't want to be put to shame again. That stuff's very important to these old cultures. I live in Peru too, and it's like, even all that too, it's just like people are, it's a very delicate society at times. I'm not saying China is delicate or Mexico is delicate. These are incredible societies. America is just, it's like the bullseye. Everybody wants it. Everybody, when you're the top dog, in the world, that's what it is. You're the target. So that's just the way people got to look at it. So this kind of cartel thing is so interesting, and I bet they're freaked out because the corruption too has been crazy. If these cartel members who are doing all this, black magic and baby sacrificing and pentagrams and all that stuff, well, guess who else does that? Hollywood. A lot of the elites in the United States are doing that too. So of course they're working together. They're like, we don't care. We want to kill people too. we want to sell our heroin laced, fentanyl laced with heroin, as well. And that stuff is really nasty. It is very difficult to quit. It's a rough ride. So do not ever do it. Stay very far away from it. If it's around you, find a spiritual outlet, and before you even get to, if you know people, do it. There's a way. Ibogaine treatment is an interesting way. If you've never heard about that, ibogaine, that's a root from Africa that can really help with addiction. Look into it yourself. If you have any questions about that, comment down below. All right, let's get into the next thing. This is actually very interesting. I want to talk about crypto, but a different type of crypto. So Worldcoin and the biometric ID agenda. Is this a Trojan horse? So Worldcoin, the controversial iris scanning crypto project, is facing major global backlash as governments crack down on its biometric data collection. So this is an interesting story. The other day, I follow crypto, I trade it and stuff, but the other day I was looking at it, I just saw, Worldcoin, what the heck is that? I've never seen that crypto. And they're saying, it's probably going to go up this year, and that's interesting. And then that next day, I got my haircut in Peru. I live in Peru, and the guys were saying, hey, they always ask me, what do you think about this and that, the politics and stuff. And they said, yeah, there's people riding around town here handing out pamphlets. People are showing up to this place where they have to do like a retina scan, and they're giving them like 1,000 souls, which is like $250, $300, which is like a month's wage to a lot of people here. And that's crazy. I'm like, that's interesting. I love like ChatGPT and AI and stuff. I think like some of these things are so great to use. It's just crazy. Just don't let it like take over everything that you're trying to do. I don't believe in like using it to make your music and all that stuff. But what I'm saying is like, what is that about? Because I haven't really heard about that, and that's very interesting. So I wonder if it's being suppressed in some way in the United States. They don't want that many people knowing about it, so they're testing it out in other countries. So Spain, Brazil, and Kenya have suspended or banned Worldcoin's operations due to privacy violations. Yeah, they don't want that stuff. People are lining up to scan their irises in exchange for free cryptocurrency, raising concerns over biometric surveillance. Anytime it's like that, you start thinking of like, the and all that stuff in Kenya, and it seems like in all these countries, like where they do these experimentation with what, and it's like, come on, guys, what kind of world we are in? I'm ready for the Great Pyramid world to come back again, where that's all aligned. We're aligned with the stars again, and we'll talk about that a little later, because there is good news to all this stuff. Because what comes up has to come down. It's just like the crypto charts. If you follow trading or stock trading, what goes up, there's a whole cycle. That's humanity. We're on it. We're on that type of thing. And right now, we're at a real downtime, and it's like, wow, do we get out of here? We'll leave our souls if we die, and do we leave this whole place entirely, or do we stick around and just ride through it because it's going to get better? That's something to consider. So don't be afraid about any of this stuff. This is all part of the plan, whatever. It's don't worry about all that. But this though, I'm not saying don't worry about it because we have family and stuff, and that we need to actually do talk about these types of things. But this stuff is being exposed. So even the current government that we have in the United States, which I'm very happy with, and I'm just incredibly surprised, you still can't underestimate how bad we are as men, as pure men and women, because women are bad too. Believe me, men and women are bad. We're all bad. We have tendencies to do horrible, bad stuff and have dictatorships. Even the best person can have that tendency too. So don't kid yourself. Even like the best person you think. So what I'm saying with all that is, it's like we're all part of this world, and we're all working through it, and everything's going to be okay. We just need to keep paying attention to the news and what we're doing. So anyway, getting back to Worldcoin. So Worldcoin has encountered significant regulatory challenges globally. Authorities in various countries have raised concerns about data privacy and the processing of biometric information. This scrutiny has led to raids, suspensions, and fines in regions such as Hong Kong, Spain, Argentina, and Kenya. Critics argue that the project may exploit populations in less technologically advanced areas. Kind of like where I live. I mean, the traffic lights barely even work here. But so prompting ongoing investigations and legal actions. Very interesting, huh? So all that stuff, I mean, I always try to find some kind of positive in there. So what if those people who do get that coin and they get that free coin, and then it goes up, next year it goes up to $1,000 per coin and becomes the new Bitcoin. That would be the hope, right? But I don't know. That type of stuff, makes me kind of suspicious about the whole thing. You got to admit that's not a cool. Anytime where you're selling a piece of your body, like you're going into what's it called? What's that other thing? Plasma, or giving blood and stuff. I mean, that stuff preys on the vulnerable, on people who are either addicted to drugs and stuff, who need the money. It's just that's kind of the word that I would have with all that. And World ID, you can't even make this stuff up. Are we in a dystopian movie? Yeah, pretty much. No matter who's in charge and all that stuff, I feel like this stuff is going in that direction so far, no matter what. So many of us, including me, are investing into crypto. We're kind of helping create it in some way, because it's like when you're trapped for so long, struggling and stuff, you feel like, oh, there's a way out. It's crazy, man. So anyway, on the good news on all that. And this is good news for me, because it just always helps me it always reminds me of what it really is, what we really are, in this world, who we really are as humans. We're so powerful. They just don't want us to remember that. They want us stuck in slaves to our emotions. They want us stuck fighting each other, better just to each other in family, so in friends, and in tribes, and nation bloods against Crips, and Democrats against Republicans, same thing type of thing. Country against country, border. It's dude, the list goes on and it keeps going. And I'm not saying that that hasn't happened in the past, but I know that when you look at the pyramids, and that when these pyramids were aligned with Orion's belt, and there was a time, I believe, where things were more synchronized. I'm here in Peru, and Machu Picchu and all these ancient structures I've been here, they have connections with Egypt. They found coca in some of the pharaohs, along with other drugs and stuff, but like actual coca. Oh, okay, then how did they bring coca, since just lands weren't existed and nobody knew each other? Well, clearly they knew each other. Clearly they were portals and gateways, and there were other technologies going on that is not really technology. It's like it is what it is. When you look at the stars, when you look at the planets and stuff, maybe it's not just gas filled with or dense other worlds like in Star Trek and Star Wars and stuff. Like, maybe it's a little different than that. Maybe these are principalities. Maybe these things have deep significance on us, and so anyway, the mystery of the ancient pyramids and stuff, I believe that there was a time that existed where everything was just in a perfect harmony, in a balance, and human was just like, we were exploring the world together and just like living on the most highest vibe that we can't even possibly visualize right now. And here's the thing, here's the the journey of a soul, of a human soul, of an experienced soul at least, who's been through it many times, is that you only gain the experience of wisdom and like this kind of enlightened world by going through what we're in right now, which is a very, very difficult time as human planet. As a planet, we're just going through the most difficult time ever right now, but maybe it's happened in the past before. So just take rest in that, knowing that, hey, this is all working out. We're all part of here, we're all waking up to so many degrees. So pat yourself on the back and just know that everything's going to be okay. It's going to be fine, and things are changing for the better. So the Great Pyramids, those were perfectly aligned with the 3 stars of Orion's belt. Ancient Egyptian texts tell us that Orion was associated with Osiris, the god of resurrection and the afterlife. The Egyptians believed that pharaohs would ascend to the stars after death, using the pyramids as a gateway to the heavens. Who are we to say that, oh no, those were just extensions of their ego and they were tombs? Well, yeah, they were kind of like tombs, but what is a tomb? Do we even really know what a tomb is? Why, like really, your soul, do you even know what your soul is? Do you even know who you are? What are we? So these are the types of things that I like to talk about. So I'm trying to bring in this news channel, spiritual stuff along with grounded news, because it all links, and we're here, and I'm trying to ground spirituality with reality here with what we're in. I don't know if that made sense, but whatever. Okay, cool. Was Giza a power plant? The Tesla connection. So Nikola Tesla believed the Earth itself could generate free wireless energy. Some researchers suggest that the pyramids functioned as ancient power plants. Makes sense. Makes so much. How else did they power all that stuff? They had to have that technology. Maybe they built a smaller pyramid and it helped to build that other stuff. I mean, it's so clear. It's so obvious. We live in a sci-fi world. I mean, dude, sci-fi is the real. You know what I mean? You read those sci-fi books, Dune and all that, dude. Like, that's probably is the real deal. And it just comes out as sci-fi and it's fiction, and they tell you that that stuff's just fiction. When actually right now they're doing a manipulated version of that kind of. So they're trying to control the technology for their own benefit, but it's pretty hard. I think it is hard. I don't know if you can really totally control that to the bitter end, because there's good people out there, who want to do right, with technology as well. So, so Nikola Tesla, so some researchers believe that they were like power plants, quartz-lined chambers to generate piezoelectric energy. I've never heard of that, and I like that. Piezoelectric energy, that sounds awesome. Underground water chambers to create an electromagnetic charge. So the underground water chambers, those also exist in Mexico. In Mexico, I've been there myself, Teotihuacan, that's north of Mexico City. There's 3 pyramids there. And one of them is a bit more modern. That's like the Pyramid of the Serpent. And I know underneath that Pyramid of the Serpent, there's a water chamber as well. Dude, I want to go there. I want to be inside it. I just want to sleep for like freaking 500 years inside there and just take a nice rest. Be sick, dude. Don't be afraid of that serpent, by the way. All Christians out there, any Christians will listen and stuff. Don't be like, dude, there's so much wisdom in that whole knowledge. They just try to transform and just like, they try to change everything to make it seem one way when it's not. And I'm just saying that there's wisdom in everything too. I'm not saying go out there and hurt other people, and that there's wisdom in that and doing wrong. And I'm not saying that. And people who hurt children and all that stuff, that is not right. And but I'm saying that there's wisdom in a lot of things that we think of that are not right. And let me explain for a second. The elites of this world, and maybe you'll start thinking, this guy really is controlled opposition news, okay? But he's defending the dictators of the world and all that stuff. Well, if you're in that position, really think about that for a second. If you yourself were in that, you good person A, B, and C, great people, right? And you really do want to go. When you are placed right now in this day and age, in the last 200 years or so, in that position of total power, all of a sudden, right? What would you do? Do you have any idea what you would do? Like, think about that for a second. If you were a banker born into a bloodline family of banking dynasty, what would you do? And you had all the power, and it's like, and if you just try to change it, everything gets destroyed. All your whole family, everything just, the whole thing tumbles. And then you felt that power. Do you really know what you do? If you had that kind of power, you have no idea what that kind of power is even like. So I'm not saying that what people do is right in the world. I'm not really saying that. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying it is what it is in this world that we're in right now. But the way to change it is for us to realize that and to not keep fighting in this Hegelian dialectic system and feeding into that tension. It's like we're feeding into that. Oh, Bloods, Christians, Jews, Catholics, Christians, Muslims, Christians, it's like, and so on and so forth. And we just keep creating this thing. And it's like, yeah, take it easy. Take it easy, y'all. We're going to be like the Sphinx one day again. The lions are going to be back in control. So are they a part of an advanced energy system we've forgotten from rediscovering? What do you think? Are the pyramids just an incredible human engineering, or do they hold secrets that we have not yet to understand? What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Subscribe to the channel if you like this type of stuff. My name is Austin. Peace.